My name is Alex Coba. Thank you, everyone, for being here live and in person. And I can see your beautiful faces now that we don't have any masks on. And thank you, everyone out there, for tuning in. I think we wait just like a couple, couple seconds. Let them join in. Well, like I said, it's going to be a few stories about relationships that didn't work out, some stories about who I am and where I'm from. And if you haven't been to a live show, thank you so much for taking a chance on a Friday night. And thank you so much to the Duck for inviting me to share my songs with you this evening. So I'm going to start it with one, and this one goes out to a very special friend of mine, one of my favorite songwriters, and her name is Miss Kayla Joe. Jackie lives in Tulsa for only half the week. Filled up with the beehive, her words stinging when she speaks. Some days she's down in Texas, most days she's in between. And I'd love her if she'd let me, but she said love don't mean a thing. And Jackie, I don't feel right. I keep shaking with the sunrise. Used to look at me like the moon was full, now you won't look me in the eyes. And Jackie, I don't feel right. I wonder if you still care. 'Cause every time we were home alone, babe, it's like you were never here. Jackie says that everyone dies a little bit every night. And in the morning they're reborn, hoping today they can get it right. She boasts about the universe and how it treats her right. Can't wait to see the other side, but can't pick sides to save her life. And Jackie, I don't feel right. I keep shaking with the sunrise. Used to look at me like the moon was full, now you won't look me in the eyes. And Jackie, I don't feel right. I wonder if you still care. 'Cause every time we were home alone, babe, it's like you were never here. Now Jackie's back in Texas and her car's in my drive. Said she'd never leave, with leaving always on her mind. I don't know if she's coming back or if she was ever here. Just a waste of time and all my dimes, it's almost been a year. Jackie, I don't feel right. I keep shaking with the sunrise. Used to look at me like the moon was full, now you won't look me in the eyes. And Jackie, I don't feel right. I wonder if you still care. 'Cause every time we were home alone, babe, it's like you were never here. And every time I see you lately, it's like you were never here. Thank you so much. Kayla's a wonderful songwriter out of Paris, Texas, and she recently, her boyfriend was in a really bad accident, so I wanted to play that song. That's one her and I worked on together, and he's got a long road to recovery, and hopefully he isn't paralyzed after his accident, but they're working on it. So just want to send love and prayers to to her and him during this difficult time. Well, hi, Mom. Glad you can make it. Oh, I thought it was Vanessa fixing her hair. So these are my parents, and that's my older sister. These are my songwriting people. Oh, see, now I got to worry about how I introduce these songs, because I got Mom in the audience. This is one off the first record, and I intro it the same way every time, and it just started out as a failed conversation on my part and an argument where I called an ex-girlfriend by the wrong name. Right in the middle of the argument. So I started writing it as a joke. I was, just walking around the house, had the guitar on, and I'm making up lyrics, trying to make her laugh, so I wasn't, in hot water or kicked out of the apartment. And it eventually worked, and I saw her after the record came out. The record's 2 years old now, and I saw her down in the valley about a year after it was out, and I guess she found out that the record was out, and she heard the song. She was like, "You're such an idiot. Why would you put that song on there?" And I said, "It's a funny story, other than if there are any single girls in the audience, it doesn't work out, because they're like, oh, you're that guy." But just about being on the road and knowing how hard it is in whatever profession you are, if you're gone for a little while, you got people at home waiting for you. Are you the one I met out east in Carolina? Green eyes, a golden heart, and a gypsy soul. Taller than the pines up on that sugar mountain, sweeter than the waters flowing in the Roanoke. You don't have to tell me that I've been on this road too long. You don't have to tell me I should be home before your memories are gone. Are you the queen that I left high in Colorado, reigning over me on top of Castle Peak? Was drowning in your blue eyes there in crystal water. Never thought that I couldn't bring myself to leave. So you don't have to tell me that I've been on this road too long. You don't have to tell me I should be home before your memories are gone. When who you are to me gets lost when I'm not living in this in-between. You don't have to tell me, I already know. Don't tell me. You're the one I held down south in sweet Savannah. My southern belle I gave a ring. Sold my last suit on a whim and a broken promise, to try to give you all of me and everything you ever could have wanted. Don't tell me that I've been on this road too long. You don't have to tell me I should be home before your memories are gone. I should be home before your memories are gone. I should be home before your memories are gone. Thank you so much. Mr. Alex Foose, everybody. Thank you guys for coming. It's really good to see you. Funny enough, Alex used to work for me. I hired him to run logistics in this company that I was working for here in Houston. He was a temporary worker at first, and he was way better than the logistics guy that I had at the time. I was like, hey, what are you doing after you graduate? I liked having beers with him at lunch. So I hired him. And then my boss at the time was like, hey, you can't be taking the logistics guy to 2-hour lunches and buying him beers. I was like, well, we're getting to know each other. But fast forward a couple years later, I had the honor and the privilege to stand up in their wedding. And I'm glad you guys are here. So I played another dear friend of mine is in the audience, Miss Tracy DeJarnett. With Houston Live, she does so much for songwriters. One of the things she does is she allows me to do cool things like be on NPR radio on a Monday and talk about events that she has going on. And I wanted to play a song about Houston. And I wrote this song. I moved to Houston about 9 years ago, just in time to experience the tax day floods and Hurricane Harvey and all the other cool things that happen here, like the traffic. But I was at home and I had a newborn baby boy, and it was Hurricane Harvey decided to come and visit and not leave for a couple days. And I remember the water just coming up to the door, and it would go back, and it would come up to the door and go back, and we were losing power. It was on and off. And I'm like, well, let's write an uplifting relationship song about being here for each other. So I wrote it with that idea, and I played it on the air that morning, and, wouldn't you know, that day at our event, it did not stop raining. It was pouring down at 8th Wonder. It was nuts. So I borrowed Tracy's flower umbrella, and I'm running from the brewery to the distillery to go get my first set done, and then a friend of mine is holding the umbrella while I'm carrying all my gear across the flooded street to go play a second set at the brewery. She was like, you probably shouldn't have played that song. But it's just about, relationships. Sometimes they start just like a storm, a little sprinkle. Sometimes the rain gets a little heavy. Sometimes you find yourself in the middle of a hurricane. But if you're with that special person, you definitely make it through. I didn't mean to look at you, but just hang in there, guys. No, they're fine. They're happily married. I remember, it's fresh on my mind, the kind of storm that could hit you in a moment, change your life. How could we ever have seen it coming? I said, don't worry, take my hand and we can make it out alive. 'Cause I will be here when the clouds clear in the morning. I will hold you as the water starts to rise. I could feel it, the flood coming. Your love rushing over me like a wild river. Fireworks and lightning were ringing in the new year. Still that sky went dark and the world seemed to disappear. You were the only light before me, the kind of beacon I needed to help me weather the storm. And I will be here when the clouds clear in the morning. I will hold you as the water starts to rise. I could feel it, the flood coming. Your love rushing over me like a wild river. When the water breaks the levee and it's too high to go alone, pull me in and hold me close. We can always make it out when the water comes rushing in, and there's no one else in the world I'd rather be swept away with. I could feel it, the flood coming. Your love rushing over me like a wild river. Your love rushing over me like a wild river. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that's the next one I should probably write, right? This one's called Cool Front. No. Yeah, it's hot. Yeah. So I like co-writing a lot. I started songwriting. It came up on my timeline, Red River, New Mexico, Mr. Gary. I went to a Red River Songwriters Camp. My son at the time was a couple months old, maybe, brand new. Still had that brand new smell, you know? And it was Father's Day, and it popped up. I spent Father's Day not with him, but in Red River, New Mexico with some brilliant songwriters, and just really getting a feel for what it's like to try to do this and to work on the craft. And a big part of it is co-writing. Sometimes the well, runs a little dry, so I get to meet with different co-writers, and this is a new song. It's going to be a new single that's going to be out on the record. And I wrote it with a friend of mine, Mr. Brian Douglas Phillips out of Austin. And I wrote it about a girl, and I don't think she's here, so I can tell the story. She said she bought a ticket, liar. It's called The Game, okay, so. And it's just, something's over, it's over, let it lie. Instead of just keep going and running around in circles. Oh, I got a story for this one. So, I wrote the song, and I would intro the song, and I played at Main Street Crossing in Tomball. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna debut that song, I'm gonna tell the story behind it, I'm gonna get real detailed about this girl. And I looked right at the front table, and her parents bought a table to the show. I was like, oh, okay, how are we gonna tell this story? Oh, this is a song about a very nice girl. That time when you thought that I was sleeping, heard you tell your mama on the phone that I can never give you what you needed, and maybe you'd be better off alone. Maybe I forgot about your birthday, I got a little lost on my way home. And maybe I don't ever say the right things, and maybe I don't listen, 'cause I already know if I'm everything you say I am, if your bags are packed and waiting by the door, if the game is really over, then why are we keeping score? I don't want to hear that it needs fixing. You don't want to hear me stumbling. At 2 a.m. I'm too gone to remember. Oh, I bet you won't let me forget. If I'm everything you say I am, if your bags are packed and waiting by the door, if the game is really over, then why are we keeping score? If I'm everything you say I am, if your bags are packed and waiting by the door, if the game is really over, then why are we keeping score? Yeah, and why are we keeping score? Yeah, and why are we keeping score? Why? Thank you. So I know I made an announcement that my merch guy was going to be here tonight. My son Jude sells merch at shows, and he sells way more merch than I can do on my own. He sits back at the table. He's not here tonight. But I do have a song about him on my first record, and I'll play it for you guys right now. I wrote the first record. It's a very quiet and kind of songwriter-y record. And I was given an interview about it in Bernie on a radio station. And he had asked me, he's like, they're all pretty kind of, quiet songs, quiet songwriter songs. And I was like, yeah, I wrote it when I had a newborn baby. And a lot of the writing was me just sitting in his room or in the living room, and he's sleeping, and I'm hoping that he stays asleep, so I'm just kind of whispering melodies and working on songs. And I'm like, yep, the whole record came out that way. And this particular song, I wanted to write a song about him. And when I first saw him for the very first time, it was this experience that only parents in the audience, I guess, could understand and get. And I was terrified. So scared. Still am. And I was like, well, if I can just get him in the car, buckle him in, get him home safe, get him safe, and he's healthy out of the hospital, I'll be fine. I'll calm down. It'll relax. I won't worry. And that is 100% untrue. Because it is an everyday, every minute of the day, worrying about this little human being that looks like you and looks back at you and says some of the wildest things now that he's 6. Yeah. Thanks, Mom. But he says some crazy, crazy things. And he's 6 years old, and I have him, and I will still wake up in the middle of the night and, you put your finger just to make sure that everything's still working. It's a scary, scary thing being a dad, but I love every minute of it every day. And his name is Jude, and this is Jude's lullaby. Sleep well, my son, for you know you are loved. Sleep well, my son, for you know you are loved. And what are you dreaming about? Are you fighting on some open sea, like a pirate out on the water, with some girl that you have yet to meet? What are you dreaming about? To be a man with some big family, or a lone soul on the road who writes his songs and sings like me? Sleep well, my son, for you know you are loved. Sleep well, my son, for you know you are loved. And could you be dreaming about a life that you have never seen? Or is it since you are brand new, did God already show you everything? Could you be dreaming about a life you've known and how it used to be, when the world stood still long enough you could hear how the earth would sing? And I can hardly wait till morning when your world it opens up. Tell me all about your dreams and the angels up above, when you were the boy king hero, and how they send us all their love. Sleep well, my son, for you know you are loved. Sleep well, my son, for you know you are loved. You are loved. You are loved. Thank you. So they're not all sad. There's some happy ones in there somewhere. But he's 6, going on 21 for sure. And I still make him cuddle with me, and I force kisses on him. And he's like, "Dad, stop. I'm trying to watch my show." Whatever he's into, or he's on his iPad. And I put my face in between him and the iPad. He's like, "I can't see." I'm going to do one by one of my favorite songwriters of all time for you, and there's a story behind this song, and I recently got to open up for him. And when I met him, he completely blew my mind, and he's one of the kindest, most gentlest souls you'll ever meet, and he's a complete genius when it comes to songwriting. And I've never been like leg shaking, afraid, standing in front of somebody trying to have a conversation with him. And we've talked a million times, and I still say the dumbest shit in front of him, and I don't even realize it, and I'm like, that didn't come out right. Walt, Gary? I went to that songwriters camp in Red River, and I thought I knew what songwriting was, and I was there with Mr. Drew Kennedy and Josh Grider and Susan Gibson and Kelly McQuee and Jana and Walt, the godfather of songwriters, and I quickly realized I had to go home and practice, burn all the old stuff that I had, and hopefully no one heard it or could find it anywhere. But we're in the mountains of Red River, and we are... Walt's going to play a show for us. It's an evening after we had a bunch of songwriting workshops. And he's on this outdoor amphitheater stage, and there's this lake behind him. We're right in the middle of all these mountains. Everywhere you look, it's just trees. It's maybe 73 degrees outside. The sun's out. And he just finished writing that song, and he hadn't recorded it, and he hadn't put it out. And he talked a lot that day about what it means to him to be a songwriter. And he wrote this song, and it's called Painter by the Lake. And it just completely blew my mind. And at that point, I realized, like, I want to, for better or for worse, I want to try this, and I want to work on the craft, and I want to share stories and really put the work in to try to be the best songwriter I can. And I got the privilege to finally open up for him a few months ago. And on my shaking knees, I was like, well, what does it take for someone to record one of your songs? He's had tons of hits. I say hits, Pat Green and Kelly Pickler, and he's had a lot of cuts. And he's like, well, which one do you want? And I said, man, I'd really like to record Painter by the Lake. And he goes, no one's ever asked me to, and I'd be honored. So I want to put this on the next record. Well, let's see how it comes out first. I've never played it live, so let's see how it goes. I may never be Monet, but I love it just as much. The silence, the canvas, the colors on the brush. It changes every morning. I never know what I might find. Some new mix of sun and clouds that last night left behind. I'm the painter by the lake. I'm out here every day, just trying to catch the sight of a slant of light across the way. Keep it clear, tell a story, get some motion in the scene, and trust the one who sees it next with the time and space between. This offering from the painter by the lake. I sell them on the weekends. Tourists take them home. A frame of borrowed beauty, like wine, like a poem. A memory of a feeling, wild dance serene. A momentary balance of red and yellow, blue and green. Well, I don't do it for the money, I don't do it for the praise. This is who I am and how I make my way to set down the truth within this beauty that I see, that moves like water, like the wind through these trees. I'm the painter by the lake. I'm out here every day, just trying to catch a shade of a slant of light across the way. Keep it clear, tell a story, get some motion in the scene, and trust the one who sees it next with the time and space between. This offering from the painter by the lake. So go on and take this with you if you think you've got a place for my best intentions, my humble saving grace. I don't hold on to these pictures, I always let them go into the wild creation from this little place I know. This offering from the painter, this offering from the painter by the lake. Thank you. I absolutely love that song. And when I heard it for the first time and he says, you know, I don't do it for the money, I had no idea what he was talking about, but I've sure figured that out in the last couple years. I was like, oh, that's what he meant, Walt. All right. You make tens and tens of dollars a year. This is one that I wrote with my buddy, Mr. Scott Sean White. Yeah, another one of my favorites of all time. But we were in Red River again, and I love that place. It's magical. And I said, Scott, I want to write a relationship song, but I'm tired of apologizing. And it's not always my fault. He's like, all right. So we came up with this one. And it's not necessarily about my marriage, or my ex-wife. It's loosely based on mostly facts. You said I never bought you roses, standing there bleeding from the thorns. You said I never threw a party for your birthday while I was sweeping up confetti off the floor. You said I never took you anywhere, stepping off the plane back from Mexico. You said I never wrote you a love song while it was playing on your radio. So when you packed that U-Haul up with 5 years, 8 months, and 3 days of us, didn't help you pack but didn't hold you back, you finally got something right about me, babe. When you said, yeah, when you said, I never told you not to leave. Gotta admit it kinda hurt, staring at the truth, who wouldn't know? But right then I knew there was no pleasing you, so I had to give up and let go. So when you packed that U-Haul up with 5 years, 8 months, and 3 days of us, didn't help you pack but didn't hold hold you back. You finally got something right about me, babe. When you said, yeah, when you said, I never told you not to leave. So when you packed that U-Haul up with 5 years, 8 months, and 3 days of us, didn't help you pack but didn't hold you back. You finally got something right about me, babe. When you said, yeah, when you said, yeah, when you said, yeah, when you said, I never told you not to leave. Thank you. So sharing ideas for songs. I talk a lot about Red River, but I met so many different people that weekend and over the course of the weekends that I would go back that have completely changed my life. And we were in a group of novice songwriters, and we were sitting around, and we were exchanging email address and contact info. And I got an idea. I got an email when I was back in Texas. I got an email from Miss Donna Brown, one of the sweetest ladies I've ever met. She's a teacher in Fort Worth. And she goes, hey, I overheard this conversation. One of my coworkers was telling me that she just can't get on the same page with her boyfriend, and they're going to break up, and it's always only one way or the other. It's never just in the middle. And she's like, doesn't that sound like one of those big hourglasses, that you turn over and you just got to kind of wait it out? And I was like, cool, well, let's write a song called Hourglass. And it's just one of those that just falls out of you, right? So I sent it to her, and we did a little tweaking here and there, and that one made the record too. And I gave her writer's credit, and I sent her the back photo of the record, and she called me, and she was a little emotional about it. She's like, I didn't even do anything. I was like, yes, you did. You did everything by giving me that idea. So you are now an official co-writer on a record that 50 people own, and that my mom has 25 copies of. I know sometimes you feel you give too much. Here I go again and take like it's not enough. In a moment, you feel empty like you got nothing left to give. You feel it slipping and getting harder to see who you thought I was, who I said I'd be. And as I'm buried in everything you're giving me, it's getting harder to breathe. When we're lost at our dead ends of the hourglass, fearing everything we give will never get it back. And here we go again and waste some time we can't afford to lose. Give me a minute, I could turn it around, give it back to you. If I could give it all back at once, it might hold you down and never let you up. I find it's the giving piece by piece that make up the little things. When we're lost at our dead ends of the hourglass, fearing everything we give will never get it back. And here we go again and waste some time we can't afford to lose. Well, give me a minute, I could turn it around and give it back. We might sit here for a while, collecting dust as we stay mad for a little while, longer than the time before. When you feel empty, trust I am full. And here I come to turn it around and give it back to you. When we're lost at our dead ends of the hourglass, fearing everything we give will never get it back. And here we go again and waste some time we can't afford to lose. Well, give me a minute, I could turn it around, give it back to you. Give me a minute, I could turn it around, give it back to you. Give me just a minute, I could turn it around, give it back to you. Thank you. So I do want to give a really big thank you to a couple very important people to me who are here in the audience, Mr. Ted and Susan Lundgren. Ted is my manager / booking agent. So Mom, if this doesn't work out, you can blame Ted. You know what he looks like now. No pressure, Ted. Yeah. But Ted spends a lot of his time during his day reaching out to me and making sure that I'm getting my stuff together. I do have a full-time job. I have a big boy job that requires me to travel a lot, and Ted has his big boy job too, and this is something that we really enjoy doing. Me up here, Ted over there, and on the phone. But he's created a lot of really good opportunities for me in the last coming out of the pandemic, and even right before that, we had some really exciting stuff going on. I was like, 2020 is the year. Yes. This is gonna be awesome. Yeah. And then we're working up to South by, and that's kind of when it all fell apart, right? And I'm on, I got these 4 showcases, and I'm so excited about it. And Ted's like, man, there's people coming over from Ireland. It's going to be cool. He's got Pat Byrne on his roster, too. If you don't know Pat, he's from Ireland but lives in Awesome, an amazing singer-songwriter. And he's like, let's talk about going to, to Ireland, man. I'm like, yes, let's talk about it. And then I get a phone call, and he's like, are you seeing this shit? What's going on? He's like, everything's getting canceled. What's going on? What are you hearing? Like, I'm hearing the same thing, Ted. Everything's getting canceled, and we're not allowed to go anywhere. He's like, give it a couple months. Let's not cancel the things that are on the calendar, in a month or two. I think it will be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll make it to Ireland in October. Nope. So I still haven't been to Ireland, Ted. But things are starting to open up again, and people are coming out and watching live music, and house concerts are coming back on board, and I have wonderful Fulshire House concert hosts here visiting me, and I've played that one. I love that room. All right, let's get back to the sad songs. This was one that was in 2020, and I was stuck at home, working off the laptop, and my day starts, I have people on the East Coast, so my day starts a little earlier than most. And I wasn't thinking about anybody in particular, but mainly just being around people and getting out there and not having to wear a mask. When I wake up in the blue light of the morning, somewhere between my first and second coffee, it's when I start to miss you. I still can't sleep on your side of the bed. When I finally leave the house and go for that afternoon drive, hit the brakes between a yellow and a red light, I'm still reaching for you and praying to God we can make it out alive. And it's times like this I'm tired of being lonely, scared to death not knowing if you're fine. And whoever he is, he better love you like I would if you were still mine. When the sun starts to set and it glows on your side of the couch, I find myself still looking for that pretty little smile, and I start to break down, not knowing if I'll see it again. And it's times like this I'm tired of being lonely, scared to death not knowing if you're fine. And whoever he is, he better love you like I would if you were still mine. So I sold that bed and I wrecked that car. I finally threw that couch out there way out in the yard. 'Cause it's times like this I'm tired of being lonely and scared to death not knowing if you're fine. And whoever he is, he better love you like I would. And yeah, whoever he is, he better love you like I would if you were still mine. Yeah, if you were mine. Yeah, whoever he is, he better love you like I would if you were still mine. Thank you. That's first class service there, folks. I appreciate it. I told him, I was like, man, don't let me have more than one drink on stage at a time because they're filming this and my mom's going to give me shit. I appreciate it. Where were we? We were somewhere where my mom was watching. You know how, like, usually you're on stage and someone's like, I love you. And they're like, thanks, Mom. My mom, it's like, open your nose, don't sing from your throat. You're flat. Like, thanks, Mom. And I was somewhere and I had like 2 or 3 empty beers on stage, and I have another one in my hand, and I'm talking, and I drop it, and it goes everywhere. She's like, that wouldn't happen if you weren't drinking beer on stage. I know. It's apple juice, Mom. Let's see, while we're doing... Oh, okay, I got one. I'll play you a song, a little bit about where I'm from. So I'm originally from the Rio Grande Valley. I grew up in Harlingen, Texas. Yeah. Not Arlington, Harlingen. No, it's just you say Harlingen, they're like, yeah, I know where that is. Like, I don't think you do. But I was really fortunate enough to have the childhood that I had was really out of a Hallmark movie, I'm telling you. I grew up on a piece of land where I had my grandparents about 25 yards away, and I got to have breakfast with my grandma and grandpa and ask for rides when I missed the bus and call them when I didn't want to be at school and was sick, to the point where my mom's like, stop picking him up. But I was fortunate enough, I have tons of aunts and uncles there, and the business on both sides of the family had to do with agriculture. My grandpa Coba was a farmer his entire life, and it would be Christmas Day and he's out there on the tractor. Easter Sunday, he has every part of his family at his house, and he's out on the tractor getting work done. And my other grandfather, they were in trucking for a really long time. And I had he's my mom's cousin, but, out of respect, if there's someone older than you, they're automatically your uncle in our culture. So I have like 150 uncles. And he said something to me when I was about 13 years old, when I thought I knew everything, and a little bit of advice about what it is when you finally are a man. And he said, sometimes we do things as men and as fathers and husbands, and a lot of the times you're just hoping that it's enough. So I wanted to write a song. I had this image in my head of my grandparents in the morning, in the early morning, my grandfather reading his Bible and having his coffee and getting ready to start the day. And that's where this song came from. Honey, I'm going to try and sell a load of something that I harvested early in the morning before you were up. And I left some coffee warming for you in the pot, 'cause I know you'll need it early in the morning when the kids get up. So would you say a little prayer that it yields just enough to be enough? If you don't mind, dear, could I ask you for another day when you keep it all together and pray for clear weather while I'm away? And I know this season has been harder than the one before, but I'll work it even longer to try to one day afford not to have to say a little prayer that it's enough to be enough. Enough to make it through another long winter and try to help my brother out. His farm has been in better days than it's in now. If we can make it to another hot summer, it'll be our Independence Day, when we won't have to worry if the kids will be okay. We'll just say a little prayer and give thanks that it's enough to be enough. headed home now, and every mile marker seems to serve to remind me of all the little prayers you said over the years, that my truck may make it and I can somehow outrun the storm, and that all this time away from you is worth fighting for. So won't you wear down another couple beads on that rosary for me, and pray that it's enough to make it through another long winter, and try to help my brother out. His farm has been in better days than it's in now. If we can make it to another hot summer, it'll be our Independence Day, when we won't have to worry if the kids will be okay. We'll just say a little prayer and give thanks that it's enough. We'll say a little prayer and give thanks to the Lord, but that it's enough. Thank you. So we got time for a few more, it looks like. Thank you again for coming out and letting me share some songs. I really do appreciate it. When I moved to Houston 8 years ago, I looked up where the rooms to play and where the open mics are. And this stage was the very first stage that I stepped foot on when I moved to Houston at their Monday open mic. And it was a scary, scary thing, because there are some good songwriters in Houston. But I've been fortunate enough to play this stage a few times with some really good friends of mine that have invited me to be on their shows and swap songs and be a part of showcases that are here. But this is my first solo night at the Mucky Duck, and I'm very, very, very fortunate to share this experience with all of you. This is another single that I was really fortunate to write with my buddy, Mr. Brian Douglas Phillips. Only got myself to blame, like a beggar back out on the street again, like a drowning man who just keeps swimming toward the wave, hoping that the winds are gonna change. Only got myself to blame, stuck out in the desert and praying for a little rain, serving 99 to life and still just counting down the days, hoping that the winds are gonna change. I swore I wouldn't let her in, wouldn't go down that road again. I swore I wouldn't drop the guard around my heart, but the walls are crumbling, and I know better, 'cause it always ends the same. Only got myself to blame. Only got myself to blame. Only got myself to blame. She came in spinning out of control like a hurricane. I let her pick me up and just carry me away. She made a mess of everything. I swore I wouldn't let her in, wouldn't go down that road again. I swore I wouldn't drop the guard around my heart, but the walls are crumbling. And I know better, 'cause it always ends the same. I know better, 'cause it always ends the same. You know that I have been here before, and you know that I'll come back for more. I never learned to learn from my mistakes. I swore I wouldn't let her in, wouldn't go down that road again. I swore I wouldn't drop the guard around my heart, but the walls are crumbling. I know better, 'cause it always ends the same. And I know better, 'cause it always ends the same. Only got myself to blame. Only got myself to blame. Only got myself to blame. Thank you. So I'm really excited about these next couple songs that are going to be coming out. Talking to some producers and trying to figure out a game plan on how to release it to the world and not spend nearly as much money as I did on the first record. Just try to be smart about it. Nobody has CD players in their cars anymore. Why do you spend money on I bought a truck. So in 2018, I had a Silverado, and I started picking up more and more shows. And I'm traveling, I'm going to Dallas, I'm coming back, I'm in Hill Country, I'm back. And I'm like, man, the gas is killing me. And the wheel fell off my car. You were there. Oh, man. We were at lunch, having waters. Long lunch. We were having a long lunch. And I guess it's a Chevy thing, but if you turn too hard and you're backing out, your wheel just falls off. He goes, what the hell was that? It's like, I have no idea. You get out, and your truck's pretty high, and all of a sudden, you're low riding on one side. You're on the floor. And it just popped off, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get rid of this thing. So I bought a smaller Colorado that got 32 miles to the highway to save myself some gas traveling for work and for music at the end of 2018. And it's got 115,000 miles on it already. So it's a glamorous life if anybody wants to be a songwriter. Let me know. So I'll write this. I'll play this one for Miss Tracy DeJarnett. One of the things that I got to do is be a part of Houston Live, and I got to be a part of Houston Live because I came in second. Yeah. See, I didn't even win it. Never mind, Tracy. But I submitted this song. And got chosen to play, and we did a showcase thing, and I got second. And since then, I've been able to be really fortunate to be a part of the Houston Live family and that organization and everything that the DeJarnetts do to help us put things on and get going. But I heard I'm traveling for work. I'm at airports quite a bit, and people watching is a favorite hobby of mine, and listening to conversations at the hotel or the airport bar. And this one I heard, it was a family that was traveling back from Atlanta to Houston, and they went and they had a party, and they were talking about a great great uncle, and they were talking about his story, and his story was really cool. And I picked up little bits and pieces from it, and I brought it home, and I wanted to write a song about veterans and just kind of their stories and what it takes. And if you sit down and you try to write a military type song or a veteran type song, it ends up sounding like a Toby Keith song, and you can't help it. And you're like, I don't know. There's only so many things you can rhyme with, like putting a boot in someone's ass. So when I overheard the story, I was like, yes, that's it. I'm gonna write about this guy that I don't know, never met, and about this family that I don't know. And he was a World War II Navy boxer. And apparently his nickname was Lightning. He shipped out with the Navy in the spring of '42, young and full of wonder, old enough to know what he might get into. Out on the Pacific, his captain called him Lightning when he fought that army boy. He said the bar stools cracked like thunder, saw one left and then an overhand to right. And that's how Lightning was to write. He said, you're gonna serve your country, and son, I got a plan for you. You can see this war from a different point of view. Fight like you're meant to do. His daddy worked the day shift at the plant 60 days a week. He changed to rum from whiskey. He said that's what his sailor son would drink. And he thought it might be lucky. And he listened every Friday through his old tweet radio, wishing he was in the corner when Lightning started moving slow. And he'd send a prayer to Mary, 'cause she too had a son against the ropes. Well, Lightning was fighting for his country, and he knew just what to do. He saw that war from a different point of view and fought like he's meant to do. So Lightning, keep the fighter guessing now with a jab and body blow. And you can hear the crowd start roaring when they see your shoulder roll. Slip and step like thunder, throw your left and then a right. The clouds above will part and fires of heaven then ignite and collide. And that's how lightning strikes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And when the war was over and Lightning safely made it home, not much from Uncle Sam except 32, and oh, he fought a different battle than his brothers who went down with the boat. And that great plant fire of 46 started on the loading floor. They said he got as many as he could before going for one more. He always thought he had something to prove. He ran back through the smoke. It took 10 men to hold his daddy back. They wouldn't let him through. And now they laid to rest the fighter fighting like he was meant to do. So Lightning, keep the fighter guessing now with a jab and body blow. And you can hear the crowd start roaring when they see your shoulder roll. Slip and step like thunder, throw your left and then a right. The clouds will above will part and fires of heaven then ignite and collide. Oh, And that's how lightning strikes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. He shipped out with the Navy in the spring of '42. Earned a pair of golden gloves, some scars, and a couple cheap tattoos. Thank you. Yeah. So Mr. Foose was in the Navy. He served his country. I think he just scraped paint off of aircraft carriers. Is that what you said? That's all you did in the Navy? All right, so I got time for a few more. I think we got time for maybe about 2 more songs. You know what? I'll do one more and then I'll let you guys get out of here. I want to hang out with all of you. Oh, and then we do this. So that on-air song sign is going to be on, and then I'm going to finish, and then it's going to come back on, and I'm going to ask all of you guys to like scream and clap, like, yeah, they wanted an encore, right? Yeah. And it's a special encore for you guys here and the subscribers to the Mucky Ducks live streams. But I'll end the night with some of my favorite songs that aren't by me, by some brilliant songwriters. He looked down into her brown eyes, said, say a prayer for me. She threw her arms around him and whispered, God'll keep us free. They could hear the riders coming. He said, this is my last fight. They can take me back to Texas, they won't take me back alive. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. She leaned down and picked the gun up that lay smoking in his hands. She said, Father, please forgive me. I can't make it without my man. She knew the gun was empty. She knew she couldn't win. But her final prayer was answered when the rifles fired again. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. Thank you so much. I'm Alex Coba. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you, all my friends and family. I really appreciate it. Thank you.